going to get a gyro. Although it's technically pronounced hero. Although I still want to call it a gyro because it sounds cooler. My stomach.
Hey, bro, is your stomach alright?
Dude, shut up!
On the real, I have never had one. I never had a gyro.
Never had a gyro, really.
I've always gone to places that had it, and I never chose to have it. I always would just get the bowl. Like, just get the rice and chicken and the meat, and then that's it.
Essentially all it is that, like, it's like a little meat pouch with, like, you know, leaves that, you know, the Greeks pulled from their yards and put on it with, like, cum sauce. That's it. I don't like, how do you pronounce it, tzatziki sauce? I've never the biggest fan, honestly. I was more like spicier sauces, like chipotle mayo and stuff like that. That's my ish. But I don't even think that's a Greek invention. I know the Greeks invented pretty much everything. They probably invented podcasting in some way, shape, or form. You know, where they were, like, timing it on a fucking sundial, like, while they were sitting in the field or whatnot. Having, like, their, philosophies with Prostophiles. Or something like that.
That's what I always imagined. Like, that was probably, like, the very first podcast, because it was usually just this one, like, really obscenely smart guy just talking about life, and just people around him just listen to him. And like, that was like their podcast, like, for, I guess, the week or something. And the guy's like, I'll be here next week, and like everyone just like shuffles out of the park or whatever, and like it's just like, oh my god, he's so smart. And then like there's this one guy's like, yo, I didn't like what he said about nobles. We should fucking kill him. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like Joe Rogan. It's not like Joe Rogan where you just have to, like, deal with his bullshit or whatever. Be like, fuck Joe Rogan, I can't believe he said ivermectin, whatever. No, you went to go see the podcast. You could just punch this guy in the face if you want. You can go ahead and do that. Dress up like me right now, looking like a rugged explorer. Looking like fucking Nolan North right now. Like, y'all can't see it right now, but
but David honestly looks like he's getting ready for, like, a cross-continental, like, exploration type of trip. Like, he literally looks as if he's about to explore the Amazon jungle and, like, find the lost gold of Chichen Itza or something. Like, he said, bro looks like
exploring
he's
the
ready.
mountain tiles of Mouse Cacarito.
all he's missing, honestly, is just a hat. Like, a dope hat. If you just had a dope hat, like, talking, like, you know, just explorer fedora, like Indiana Jones type shit. Like,
my hair looks good right now too. Actually, I think without a hat, it's better. Like, it has, like, that ruggedness to it. You don't understand. I have the perfect amount of James Franco facial hair on my face right now, just minus the fucking 17-year-olds, and like, it's just past stubble, but, like, just far enough to the point where you could tell I need to shave because I got my neck beard going as well. I have, like, these foreign, like, you can hear this. I have these, like, foreign, like, beeds on my fucking.
I was about to say, he's shaking the maracas. He's calling the spirit. He's calling the spirits.
Somebody, amigo.
The ghost goes back. What do you want, coño?
Pinche cabrona. Welcome to the Double D Experience. Sometimes exploring, sometimes, I had something for this. Sometimes exploring, sometimes ruining franchises. No. That's not good.
Is that is that an innuendo for something? Like, it could be
a little innuendo or something. I was gonna very quickly talk about JonTron again, and how I was gonna say, like, say what you will about the man now and his insane political opinions. His fucking gaming content was the best content on YouTube, and I will not fucking sleep on that. I will die on that hill.
I agree. Fuck. And at the same time, his videos, like, even the stuff a bit after, like, his gaming ones, they've aged very, very well.
Fine wine,
like, they're still great to just go back to, and it's still just as funny from when, like, I first watched it. Like, just the shock value of, like, a lot of his shit, like, this is so... Like, you don't get that too often for, like, a lot of content like that. Like, because at the very least, he is, like, a content creator, right? And, like, and obviously a lot of his, like, some of his stuff, depending on, I guess, what he's talking about, obviously are fairly opinionated. At least his gaming stuff, like, obviously he had his own biases when it came to a lot of stuff, and he would like tell them.
You could tell he was an experienced gamer too, like on
Yeah.
top of that, as well as like, because he would play games on like the Mass X. I don't even think I pronounced that right. Does anybody fucking remember that shit? No, you don't. Like, that was a console from like the fucking 70s, dude. Or like the Commodore 64, of course. Like, he would play a lot of Commodore 64 games and stuff. Ancient stuff that I guarantee 95% of the audience watching him have never played and did not know would ever existed.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those like kind of consoles that like you probably wouldn't know unless like a TikToker from like whoever you're watching, I guess, like will ever show it. It's like, guys, did you know? You know how like all TikTok fucking videos start? It's like, guys, did you know that this was like, they bring out the Commodore 64 keyboard and it's like, this was something that people played back in the, it's like, I don't know, set like 80s, I guess. Like it was Commodore 64 runs like something. Yeah, and like
I think it was even earlier. Hold on.
It could have been, yeah.
Commodore 64, 82.
82, okay. So did you know this is a gaming console that your parents or your grandparents used to play? It just whips out like the Commodore 64 keyboard. Yeah, and like the whole like, emojis like on the fucking front.
Like
and
the
all
scream,
that,
like the scream emoji face and shit. Short form content, like minute long, like YouTube shorts, like, comment, and subscribe, pretending that they're playing the game that's on screen when they're fucking not. Because there is a zombies YouTuber that actually does that, and it's really fucking cringe. And it's discovered that he did that, and he got so dislike bombed to shit. It's really fucking cringe, man. But I don't care, man. Like,
but can I also say something? Like, what? What's up?
Shut the fuck up.
What's up? Why? David's about to throw up.
No, I wasn't about to throw up. I was looking at. I got distracted.
Moving.
Holy shit! We'll always love you. I can't believe you do this to me. God damn it! How could you do this to me? His voice is what makes it too. I said this a couple episodes ago, but JonTron literally sounds like he smoked a pack a day for 20 years, but the pitch of his voice just never went down. Like, the pitch remained high pitch, it stayed the same, but it added that right amount of raspiness to it. But whatever, man. I'm willing to die on that hill. Say whatever the fuck you want about JonTron now. I don't watch his new stuff, because he just pretty much reviews like really bad movies now. He like doesn't play video games anymore. He just does like movies and commercials, which whatever, power to him.
Yeah, he still gets the views, so like it's still working for him.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
if I'm a racist for liking JonTron, then fucking then I'm doing this podcast with a fucking chink right now. There you go. Yeah, there you go. I guess there you go. Yeah.
I gotta say though, like I went from like an actual like fan of his like from years back to like an enjoyer now.
Yeah.
Only cause it's kind of like I'm not like actively like just always excited about his new stuff. Like whenever it does pop up, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, like, John made something, and like I'll spend like 40 minutes because that's like the average length of his fucking videos now.
Yeah.
Like I'll spend 40 minutes to watch it, and I'll probably crack a laugh or two, and then like that'll be it. And I also think too, like it was a lot. I always just wondered, like, why couldn't he just kind of like go and do like reviews for more modernish type of games? Because like
not a shtick.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like his cap off was, I think his most modern one that he ever played was, maybe Starfax temperatures. Like
Starfax temperatures.
Starfax temperatures. Like I really think that was like the most modern one. Honestly,
no, he played those horrible Star Wars Connect games. If you remember that, like on the Xbox 360 Connect, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, solo. Gonna go see a princess, everything's alright. Well, speaking of Star Wars, this is news that just dropped today, actually. I'm gonna let Dennis take the reins on this one, even though he's the one who kind of just heard about it. Dennis, what happened?
John Boyega.
John Boyega
essentially came out on an interview, and things were said. One of those things that was said was he basically was telling the whole world that I'll never, ever come back for Star Wars. Period! Exclamation mark. Like, and I can't blame him. I can't blame any of the people on there. I think even even Daisy Ridley as well. Like, I think she's even like, I don't think she's publicly has gone and said it, but like, I don't think her or virtually anyone is ever down to be a part of that whole, like, I guess, franchise ever again. And speaking primarily of John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, and Oscar Isaac, who plays Poe Dameron in the sequel trilogy.
Well, Poe Dam.
Poe Dam. I think that really is like the three main, I guess, of like the new trilogy. And you know, if anyone out here has watched or tolerated the new trilogy, yeah, like, you know, it kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. Like, yeah. And
I'm not even a big Star Wars fan, and I watched some of them, and I'm like, oh, you best start believing in cringe compilations. Because, like, dude, Star Wars 7 was literally it was a New Hope. The movie was literally just a New Hope. That's all it fucking was.
Yeah,
but with girl.
With girl Luke.
Girl Luke.
Who claims a name. Who claims a name that does not belong to her at all.
Ooh.
Dares to call herself a Skywalker.
Wait. Oh, Dennis, hold on. I can hear them.
Nah,
they're coming.
No, David, believe it or not, it's
not an unpopular opinion, right?
It's not. It's really not. And like, I know, again, I don't want to bring up any bad memories for all of you children out there who have watched this trilogy and you felt as if it basically raped you, like that South Park, like that South Park episode where George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were essentially, you know, raping Indiana Jones.
Well, essentially, they were literally doing it, and
you know, dude, I felt really uncomfortable watching that.
Me too.
I was like,
Me too.
I was like, oh, why you? Oh, stop!
I mean, that was obviously the point, you know.
Yeah,
they want people to be uncomfortable watching things like, you know, on certain Game of Thrones prequel shows, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
I have a different opinion on that today, but
yeah, I'm sure you do.
I feel I enjoyed it. I liked it. Whatever. Okay, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Well, if you have anything else to say about Star Wars.
No, yeah, that's why I was just gonna like.
Yeah, please continue.
Because like, I don't think this is really news for anybody. Like, honestly, like for the 20 of you that know anything about Star Wars, like you know, 20 of you being our whole audience, like literally 100% of you.
Actually, we've been getting more views as of lately. I don't know if you peeped the YouTube channel. The only last 2 episodes that didn't get many views was because I didn't upload them on time. Actually, I uploaded them at like 10 o'clock at night or like 9 o'clock at night because I forgot to publicize them. And then even the last one got like damn near 50 already, which I did not expect it to. So.
Everyone boo David. Boo!
Y'all keep the love coming.
Boo.
You keep listening.
David.
We're gonna keep making it. Seriously, thank you guys. We've noticed that small little love
all right.
we gave our titties.
All right, now I can say all 50 of you. We've gone up. We've gone up.
Almost 70 on the salesman episode.
Oh shit! Really?
And that's just on YouTube.
Hey,
yeah, you gotta keep in mind the other platforms. Yeah.
All right, if that's the peak, then I'll still say all 50 of you because I like to imagine like you guys just love our episodes so much that like you're gonna waste an entire another of your hours to like fucking to listen to it. But thank you guys, you literally, from the bottom of my black hole of a soul, thank you.
Thank you for giving a little love tap to these firm pair of double Ds.
Yeah, to these 2 dumbasses from Jersey. Essentially. Couple more thoughts on like I guess Star Wars and like, you know, I'm gonna be real, obviously like those 3 movies, the first one I actually kind of liked it, and I mean I know because at the very least like I thought Force Awakens, like I'm gonna try real hard not to go in depth because I could talk about 2 hours. I could talk for 2 hours about this ship, so I'm gonna try to keep this like as concise as possible. No, episode 7, I honestly liked it, and I thought, they're just basically copying and pasting A New Hope, and I'm like, you know what, they did the probably the safest thing they could possibly have done, and it was arguably the best out of the 3 of the new ones. I think that goes without without saying, and obviously 8 and 9 came around, and it got worse after each one somehow. I could not believe coming out of at least episode 8, like from all those years ago, and then I even thought in my head, like, cause you know how sometimes like, you know, you just chilling with your hand in your pants and like you just jerking yourself off and you're just thinking like, oh, damn, like I really want to watch like X movie again. Like there's like some movies that like it's just so like I don't know, I want to say replayability, but like it's just like, you know, one that you're excited to watch again. Yeah. I have a few movies like that I'm like totally down to, like, you know, just literally I still watch The Godfather on a whim. And that's a 3-hour fucking movie, arguably.
I watched the Shawshank Redemption again the other day, and I will die on the hill saying that movie is goddamn near perfect. Mm-hmm. Like, it's literally almost a perfect film. Still the #1 rated movie on IMDb, by the way. But, yeah, go on.
And also another thing, in case, like, if you guys got a movie like that, like, let us know, you know, downstairs in the basement, call the comments, and, like, you know, just see, like, I kind of want to see, like, what's your guys', like, let's say, maybe timeless movie, like one that you're always excited to watch again. For me, it's at least if it's still talking about Star Wars, episode 3 Revenge of the Sith is like the one that I always like actually love to rewatch. Oh yeah, rewatchability, there you go. What the fuck, replayability, rewatchability, yeah, like ones that have that, like, you know, innately. And, you know, obviously me, my Godfather as well, like was one that I mentioned. But bro, it took me 2 seconds for me to change my mind to watch any of the sequel trilogy shit. It like literally took me 2 seconds, like, of thinking about it. I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Nah. He's like, nah, probably not. No, I'd rather dip myself into a tub with a toaster and plugged in. Like
Dennis would rather suck his grandmother's areolas,
yeah,
than fucking watch the new trilogy sequel movies
again.
That is how fucking.
Because I watched episode 7 4 times when it came out, like in theaters. I watched it 4 times because I watched it.
You're a fucking Star Wars fan. Holy shit.
I watched it with.
That's like the most stereotypical Star Wars fan thing to do.
I watched it with my ex at the time. Yeah. And I watched it twice with friends. And then I think I went once with, I think my little brother, yeah. And at the time, I was like, you know what? I actually liked it. I actually did. The more time that passed, I actually really did like it. And then obviously, you know, 8 and 9 torpedoed that shit like real quick. It took one.
If I had a soundboard, I would play like a toilet sound effect right now.
Oh my god, dude! And so, case in point too, like, and a lot of the actors did get shafted during like the production of the last 2 movies, so 7 and 8, 8 and 9. They got shafted pretty hard as far as like where their characters were going, if they were gonna do anything at all, like anything significant, and
Ray.
And you know, obviously, you know, people having their problems with Ray, and I had my own problems with Ray too. And
I was impersonating Finn because that's all he fucking does.
Yeah, but that's also
he just screams her name.
But that's also what the fans did because they could not stand this character. And like again, fucking I have racist. my own, I got my own gripes with, like, you know, a lot of the characters, but like I do feel bad for a lot of the actors because especially there was one actress who played a Vietnamese. She was Vietnamese. She played like a character in episode 8, and she got harassed like out of social media when that movie came out. Like, people hated her, but I'm like, this is all why Star Wars fans are straight up autistic, because they can't disconnect. They cannot disconnect. Like, they cannot disconnect, like, that the character is different from the actual actor/actress. The same guy who played Jar Jar Binks from all those years ago, and even the kid who played young Anakin from, like, all those years ago. Basically same movie. They got harassed like hell. This was way before, like, social media became the beast that it is. And, like, if they were around, if that movie came out during the time when social media was, like, basically where it is today, I'm like, I even thinking, like, it just took me 10 seconds, but like, I was thinking, like, would they have killed themselves because of like how much the harassment was just getting out of hand? Because it was out of hand. Because it was out of hand for this Vietnamese. I think her name was something Tran or something Chan, and she actually had to leave social media. She left for a couple years. She came back now, but like, and then in the next movie in episode 9, she had like basically a backseat role. Like, she just was not in the movie. Essentially, she was there, but she just did nothing. And I think everyone knows, like, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you watch those movies, like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
And
same thing happened to Leslie Jones when the Ghostbusters remake came out.
Yeah.
Like you said, they can't differentiate it. Actors
yeah,
are presidents. I've said this plenty of times before, just in my day-to-day. Actors are presidents. Whenever people are just dissatisfied with their life, they always just blame every single problem they have on whoever the president is at the time. Everything was Trump's fault. Everything was Biden's fault. And yeah, obviously there was shit that's their fault, that they could change or that they could do. They don't think about the myriad of other politicians or the lobbyists or, like, the fucking the Supreme Court or all the other parties that make these horrible shit happen in America that people become dissatisfied with in their day-to-day lives. They don't realize that they're angry at the writers who did a fucking horrible job with those films. That's who they're mad at. They're like you mentioned, they're fucking autistic ass brains. Look at that. Look at the screen, and they blame the person they see on the screen as if the character is the same person as the actor because they're upset with what they see. They can't think past what they fucking see, Dennis. They're married without a vision. They're not understanding that the actors are literally just reading what they're being told to fucking read. They are not the reason you hate the film. Like, what do you want them to do? You want them to be like a fucking Hollywood diva and, like, upheld the whole thing? Be like, this script is terrible. I shan't read this. Fetch me my caviar or whatever.
To be fair, but
you're mad with same with Game of Thrones finale. You know? Oh, we gotta segue that later.
Yeah, but the thing, I'm gonna just cap it off, but also by saying, look, I ain't saying all Star Wars fans are like that. A good 40% of you. It's a good solid 40% of you are fucking stupid.
I think it's more.
And if you are the same people that harassed I think his name was Jacob Lloyd, who played young Anakin, and the guy who played Jar Jar, and also now with Kelly over here from episode 7, 8. This is the reason why, like, dude, my brain's so disassociated by, like, my brain from that trilogy. I don't even remember which numbers are which, like, now, like which movie is actually episode 7. But, like, if you are
episode 4, Revenge of the Sith,
if you are any of those people that actually harassed any of those 3, you guys are fucking idiots. You guys are fucking retarded from the deepest recesses of, like, the abyss that is, like, the fucking ocean or wherever the fuck your soul is from. You guys are fucking retarded. You're fucking stupid, honestly. And you need to fucking touch grass, all 40% of you. Stupid cunts. But
Dennis can speak for me as well when he said what he just said. But he was also speaking for me on that front. Like, literally, if you're harassing actors because you didn't like what fucking came out on a screen,
go harass the writers.
Yeah, dude. Literally, like, you remember the writers for Game of Thrones? You remember they didn't fucking go to Comic-Con that year because they knew if they did, they were going to die.
They were going to get stabbed.
Probably
get stabbed from a cosplay prop sword.
Excelsior!
And that guy, security comes around, drags the guy away, and he's just screaming out, "You ruined it! You ruined it! He ruined it! They ruined it!" It's just like he's like kicking and flailing as the security's dragging him away.
Oh, all that pent-up sexual frustration. God. I mean, there was a coffee cup in, like, the last episode of that shit. And I don't blame them. Obviously...
David, I was watching that scene. I watched the show from beginning to end. I was invested as fuck.
A lot of people were, Dennis. A lot of fucking people were.
And, I know. Again, for anyone...
Thrones, yeah, Game of 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 Thrones.
Nudity.
Winner, 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 winner. Winner on top of another winner.
Winner. But going back again real quick.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess just to segue, since we already talking about it.
Yeah, speaking of bad writing.
Yeah. HBO has released another show that takes place within the Song of Ice and Fire universe called The House of the Dragon. And your boy watched it, and your boy liked it, and only because. Listen to me, David.
Ow.
You honestly, what was the first thing? You want to know the first thing that I thought of when I was watching the show?
First thing that you thought of while watching that show?
At least it wasn't season 8. But on the real, it was on my mind.
Y'all can't see it. I'm nodding the fuck out of my head right now.
Yeah,
At least it was not season 8.
Yeah. At least it wasn't like seasons 5 to 8. But, and the thing is, look.
The amount of parents that are going to beat their kids when they turn 8 now.
Look.
Because they hate that number so much.
You're an adult now.
It's your fault, George R.R. Martin. George R.R. Martin.
My general thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And this isn't really gonna be like a movie review or a show review type of like episode, I guess. But like, you know, we're just shooting the shit today. But like, yeah, this was just something. Like, this was just something that, like, you know, had happened, and I kind of want to talk about it. Like,
as we are one to do on our Shoot the Shit podcast.
We literally just might as well call it the Shoot the Shit like podcast.
I shot a pretty good shit. I shot a pretty good shit before like the podcast episode started. We had to delay it a little bit, if you remember.
Yeah,
that was not important to the topic at all. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. Song of Ice and Fire universe. House of the...
Wait to derail that whole fucking bit, you asshole.
Yeah, the train fucking. There was a straight turd on the train track. It went just.
But that turd had hardened so much, like it was basically dinosaur shit. Shit was like just rock solid. It's just been like just beaten over again and again, like by Mother Earth, and
conglomerated with blood.
Literally stronger than diamond. The shit is stronger than diamond. And then that train, when it hit it, just the wheels just exploded when it just as soon as it made contact. Just imagine that. I had
literally hard as shit.
But
conglomerated by blood. Like, whoever dropped this turd should see a doctor. Anyway. Yeah, House of the Anyway, a lot of people needed to see doctors in that episode. A lot of people needed to see doctors in
I think I know what you
Yeah, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But okay, so guys, real quick. Again, we're not a movie review or show review podcast.
At least not today we are.
Yeah, sometimes we are. Like, sometimes we watch shit and, like, you know, we just talk about it, and, like, you know, it kind of turns into one. But spoilers, if you have not watched House of the Dragon yet. Literally, spoiler alert right now. If you haven't watched it, turn off this episode just flat out and leave a like and comment and subscribe. Thank you. But
or skip to this fucking time.
Yeah.
That's
because David's
screen.
gonna
it's
put
in the comments below or on screen or wherever I decide to put it. You'll see it, but literally spoilers for House of the Dragon right the fuck now. This is your warning.
Yeah, this is your last warning. Like, we ain't gonna say it again. Okay. Bro.
Yeah?
I'm gonna be real with you, man.
You wanna be real with me?
I was a C-section baby.
Were you really? Baby. So was my little nephew.
Dude. I saw... So guys, for anyone that doesn't know, like, and obviously for all the people who have watched the show and you know what scene we're talking about, the C-section scene, honestly, I had to look away. I honestly had to look away. It was probably one of the most traumatic fucking things I've ever seen, like, on TV. For a first episode, I did not expect that of all fucking things. Like, holy shit.
Was eating.
You were eating. Oh,
I was eating a steak.
Oh! Oh my god.
With fried eggs on top of it.
Woo!
And as I sit down to see what my family happens to be watching at that particular moment, I decided to make my dinner. They are cutting this bitch's stomach wide open. Screaming her head off because she knows she's gonna die because you didn't survive C-sections. God. Her husband literally baited her because he was just like she's out. The kid is out. And then they come over and like she sees her belly and she knows what's going down.
Yeah.
And she starts screaming her head off because she feels like she literally just woke up in a nightmare where she's about to go out again. Because the thing is, they had to do it because the birth was going to kill her. Anyway.
Yeah.
Was the
maester,
thing.
Yeah, the maester essentially told them that,
Yeah.
look, you know, like, it's either we somehow save the baby and lose the wife, or we both lose them, or we lose the both of them. And obviously, you know, throughout the entire first episode, we knew that the King Viserys, he just really wanted a son. Like, he really fucking wanted one. And dude, throughout the whole episode too, you kept hearing him, I know it's gonna be a boy, because I will it to be a boy. And I'm like, bro, I don't think that's how it works, man. like you may ride these gigantic fire nukes with wings, but that's not gonna make you be able to. Like, that's not gonna be able to will you a child to be a gender that you wish it to be. And I have to say, bro, it wasn't even like, funny enough. Now that I'm looking back and remembering it, like for the first time, like watching it, it wasn't the cutting that really got me. It was her fucking screaming.
Yeah.
Like just the primal fear out of her voice as she was just, you know, just getting cut from like the, you know, from the down up. And just even knowing that, like, you know, again, I am a C-section baby. And I'm just like, holy fuck. Like, cause like, you know, obviously they've actually managed to master it now.
Yeah, the
where, like,
procedure is not as barbaric.
Deadly. Yeah, like medieval, like it is in obviously the show, like, which is medieval fantasy. But like, you know, just though, like, fuck, like, and not to mention, she was doped up too. They gave her the milk of the poppy, essentially. Like, it's like their like, you know, kind of, yeah. She still took it, and then she was still like, just like, you know, like, she was very much aware, like, even despite like how much that they gave her. So like, that's what even makes it, you know, like, the shock and the fear of it was enough to overcome the milk of the poppy. Like, it didn't even matter.
Yeah, you can watch, like you mentioned, like the screaming and like the drugs and whatnot. You can watch like a biology like video of be like, this is how a C-section is performed.
Yeah.
You don't hear any screaming. It's just like showing how to do it to like medical students or whatever. What sells it was, like you mentioned, like her acting, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Just the fucking
So
primal screaming, like you said. You saw it in her eyes and in her face and in the way that she screamed when she realized the reality that she thought she just woke up to was not the case, and she realized, I am going to die right now. Like, and I realize how I'm going to die, and it's going to be horrible and terrifying. It's like, you know, being like a small child and like being scared to get your teeth pulled out or something like that at the dentist, and like that really primal fear that you don't realize it's not that big of a deal because like you're just a kid, but that's how you feel. Except it's validated in this woman. They said they wanted to make it as grotesque as possible, and they wanted to show as much of it as they could, because, and I'm sure they only said this because they fucking wanted to like look good or whatever. They wanted to say it was like some feminist thing that they wanted people to like know the pain or and I get it. I mean, if you're listening to the show right now, call your mom. Go call your mom. Just send her flowers. Send her flowers. Say thank you.
And ask your ma if you were a C-section baby, and apologize that your head was too fucking big to come out the proper way, because that was basically my fucking head.
I'm amazed that I wasn't, because I have a big head, and I'm just very big in general. Dude, so
my mom still gives me shit over it. It's the funniest thing in the world, like, because, like, you know, obviously me being like a fucking infant, like, and that wasn't my fault, like, you know, that was just genetics.
I didn't choose to be born.
He's like, I didn't choose to be born, but it's like, just you know, just even imagining though, like, just even put yourself in her shoes just for like 10 seconds, like, and then now just going back to the show real quick, it ends up not even mattering because the fucking child dies with the mom. They have a whole funeral. It basically just didn't matter. And honestly, that was like probably the that whole tournament
I didn't know
scene.
that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
That's just fucking insulting then.
I mean, you know, it's Game of Thrones, man.
They definitely did it then to just try to, like, make it, like, oh, like, we made it because it's, like, relevant to modern times because Roe v. Wade, I mean, they filmed it obviously way before that, but, you know, they probably just wanted to make it as grotesque as possible to just, I don't know, show, like, what women had went through back then, or, you know, show, because, like, my cousin had a C-section. My cousin had a C-section, and she was terrified, you know, but she's completely fine now. She had another kid very soon after that, you know, so God bless my little nephews, but, yeah. You know, obviously this was medieval times, and not the kind of fun medieval times where you sit and you eat tomato soup and mutton and you cheer for whatever knight is in your section. Not that medieval times.
No, this is the grim dark part that, you know, I don't know, some people love that whole part of it.
Yeah.
Like whole Tower of London, like medieval torture devices.
I don't understand, because this is why I wanted to talk about this, actually.
Okay.
You know, as somebody who's not even the biggest Game of Thrones fan, who's seen a lot of it in passing, you know, the whole David thing of, like, you know, watching shows in passing.
You really are like the equivalent of, like, that dude in New York who just sees some crazy shit happening on the streets and you're just kind of like, oh, that's cool, and you just keep walking.
I'm that guy.
But you see that every week too, so it's just kind of like, you know,
yo,
you have a story to tell after every week. You're not even a part of it, but you see it as like a third person, like from across the street.
I'm that guy in the scene of The Sopranos where, like, the guy, the grandfather gets his fucking head run over, and there's that guy. You remember? There's the guy in, like, the jacket who just goes, "Oh shit." That's me.
He had, like, the big gulp with whatever, like, in his hand.
Yes. Oh shit. Like, no, I wasn't the guy who barfed. But speaking of the guy who barfed, juxtaposed with the birth of the C-section scene, juxtaposed with it is also the very violent scene of, you know, the knights, the joust and whatnot, and they don't hold back with it either. You see the guts, you see the your limbs being peeled out from your eye socket. You see pretty much everything. You even see, like, the referee, whoever the fucking referee is, quote unquote. You saw that part where the referee is standing there and he's just like, and then he fucking barfs. And they show.
It was arguably just one of the most, like, you know,
so unnecessary, but it's like, Game of Thrones is back, baby. Yeah, barf, C-sections, fucking titties and dicks everywhere. Let's fucking go, baby. Wiener, 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 wiener.
The tourney scene, you know, obviously juxtaposed with, like, the birth scene was obviously
it's happening at the same time.
Yeah,
like literally at the same time. They keep flashing between the two in the episode.
And it's arguably, not even arguably, it is the high point of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, that is, like, the climax of that episode. And, you know, obviously, the whole birth of it, like, you know, the whole time in the episode, we were, like, essentially thinking, like, you know, oh, like, because if anyone who doesn't know, like, the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire, at least even around this time, like, if you don't know it, this is, like, definitely a couple hundred years before essentially what the whole show is supposed to be about, the civil war between the Targaryen family, and basically everyone just firing off their fucking fire nukes at each other, and essentially what leads to all the fire nukes basically dying, and, you know, just the source of their power basically being gone. And it's supposed to, like, you know, kind of show, like, that this is kind of what led to the fall of the Targaryens and everything. And, like, the prologue too, if I remember correctly, they actually mentioned that this is 172 years before Daenerys is ever even born.
Right.
So this is, like, a century or two, like, essentially, like, you know, before all that even happens. Supposed to kind of try and tie in, like, you know, where we kind of know of, like, the modern show compared to, like, essentially this one, because this one takes place in the past. And I kind of found it really funny that they tried to connect this show with, you know, with the show that we all know and love, you know, so many times. And I'm just kind of like, dude, I wish, like, in another universe, this show came out and the first show didn't suck. And every time they even mentioned of what was basically coming in, like, Game of Thrones, because this is House of the Dragons, I'm trying to separate them, like, if Game of Thrones didn't suck, everything that they're saying right now in House of the Dragons would be a million times and more impactful. But we hate Game of Thrones now just by simple association of the fact that seasons 5 to 8 were fucking dog shite. And it really it doesn't make House of the Dragon, at least, back in our universe, it doesn't make House of the Dragon any lesser or worse. If anything, it just emphasizes how fucking terrible season 8 was even more.
It's like a bad professor, like for a topic that you really love. It's a subject you really love in college, but you have just the shittiest, most hardest grading asshole, stuck in their own, narcissistic professor. That's what the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones were. You want to love it. They're there, but you don't.
Dude.
You say you do, but you don't.
I don't even rewatch those scenes anymore. I don't even I stop at seasons 1 through 4. I rewatch Soprano scenes all the fucking time. I rewatch Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I rewatch because it's just great writing. It's so in a vacuum it looks and sounds really good.
Yeah.
Just to watch. But you watch any of those fucking scenes and you cannot disassociate just how terrible this fucking season was. You cannot.
Aren't prepared. That's the thing. You have to you don't want to plan too far ahead because you don't know how long a show's going to last, but this is kind of a rule when it comes to TV writing. When you're writing even just the pilot, you want to plan for at least 3 seasons. That you want to plan for 3 seasons. That's sort of the sweet spot of how far ahead you really want to go. And then you slowly start to get to that point where the network starts to order more episodes, and that's when you got to be okay, let's start working at it a little bit. And then Venture Brothers, callbacks work beautifully in the Venture Brothers, but they didn't plan fucking decades ahead. They're not I mean, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. Fucking what am I trying to say here? Doc Hammer and fucking what is the other guy's name? Jackson Public. They are geniuses. They're not fucking gods. They're not that big of geniuses, it sucks, man, but my quarrel with it.
Go ahead.
I guess well, actually no, I kind of do you have anything else you have to say about the writing? Cuz for me it's just yeah, it sucks that a bad ending can ruin it, but you got to remember House of the Dragon is being made cuz money. You gotta remember that. You watch it and it's pure Game of Thrones. Fucking titties and dicks everywhere, Morty. And, who, by the way, just today dropped for Multiverses. They put Morty in the game. They're gonna add Rick. They're gonna add Rick pretty soon, Morty. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty hype. I still haven't played that game yet. Whatever. Yeah. What the fuck was I just talking about? Oh, yeah. House of the Dragon made for money purposes, but as long as it's good, I kind of lost my train of thought for a second, so I'll just move on. The thing with me is that gets me is that titties and dicks everywhere, fucking people vomiting at the sheer sight of all the horrific violence that is happening, the barbaric nature of it, women getting cut open and showing the entire thing of a horrible, disgusting C-section meant to disturb the viewer as much as possible. And you have so many people in this world who have had, the nerd culture slowly normalized. You see, Dennis, when we were young, and we're even younger than our generation, when they liked stuff like Game of Thrones, we used to get beat up for liking shit like that. Now, as somebody who's not even a big Game of Thrones fan, I still get beat up because I don't like it as much. Everything's all topsy-turvy now.
Yeah, it's definitely reversed a bit, ain't it?
And the reason I say that is because my mother, someone who in her younger days used to think that old bullshit that Fox News propagated, not that my mom watches Fox News, believe me, she's as liberal as they come. That old, what's the word I'm looking for? Boomer bullshit. Video games cause violence? Are video games causing mass shootings? It's different. It's the simulation of playing a game. And you will have people You will even young women who hate video games and don't like the fact that their man plays video games, think that they love video games more than them because they hate how the violence is glorified, or they'll say this is why I hate video games because they appeal to the male fantasy. And then you look at their shitty little fucking Twitter bios and they say, "Oh, proud house repper of House Targaryen, hashtag Dragon Mom." They'll have that shit in their bios because so many fucking normies like Game of Thrones now. The reason I am saying that is because that episode, the series fucking premiere of House of the Dragon, some of the most gratuitous television I've ever watched in my life. They had Doctor Who plowing the shit out of some bitch. For no reason. For no reason. They had Doctor Who just plowing a girl, and then when she wasn't enough for him, she's just offering him, like, shall I fetch another? Like, shall I fetch another to join us? Like, just offering him another woman. And then they have, like, just literal sex happening in the background, titties everywhere, people fucking everywhere, just orgies happening in the background of scenes, Game of Thrones style, people getting their limbs cut off, you know, eyeballs socket out, the C-section stuff, and my point is, there are people, there are fucking people who still think that video games cause mass shootings, or video games cause violence, or video game violence is a problem, and they are fucking Game of Thrones fans.
Yeah. And these are the same people. So
the most gratuitous show on television.
So basically just pointing out the hypocrisy of it.
The sheer hypocrisy of it. Because I was uncomfortable watching some of that shit. I didn't look away. I was stuffing my mouth full of fried eggs and steak, you know, watching like a woman, like the C-section, placenta everywhere, babies getting cut out. And I'm just sitting there like...
It's honestly so weird because, like, when you see something that shocking and jarring, right? You only have two reactions. You either are glued to it because you just cannot look away, or obviously then you obviously do look away.
Yeah.
There's only those two reactions, obviously. But, like, it's so weird that, like, it makes you even think, like, you know, putting it into a personality test. It's like, can you imagine if, like, you're trying to gauge this person's personality, so, like, they drop that scene from House of the Dragon just to see, like, whether or not you look away or you just stare right ahead.
It's like a fucking CIA personality test.
It's like he's a kind of a twisted fuck. Okay, all right. He's not looking away. He hasn't even looked away once. This guy hasn't even blinked. This guy's just weirdly fascinated. Like
this guy put his dick in his hand. Okay, definitely put him on the list immediately. Put him on the top of the list. Actually, Jesus Christ, get that fucking guy out of here.
If there's any credit that I will give, like, and I kind of do agree with you, and it's not really something that I thought about, but I do agree.
It's the first thing that came to mind when I was watching it, is my mom sitting there just looking at it, and she told me that fucking video games are bad for you in our younger days. She doesn't think that anymore.
Yeah.
But she believed that bullshit for a little while.
But you know what's so odd, though? Like, as far as even violence is concerned, no video game I've ever played, and I've played some pretty bloody ones, honestly, like very gory, like nothing will ever beat for me in terms of gore The Boys.
That show
any scene involving gore in that show, and if anyone's watched the most recent season, also again, spoiler it if you for some fucking reason haven't watched the most recent season of The Boys, that whole scene that I told you about of, like, the little mini-me going into the guy's dick hole and him sneezing and him basically re-enlarging again and literally splitting the guy he was in half. Like, the dude he was in just explodes.
Points for creativity. I'll give it that. Those guys can definitely work for NetherRealm Studios with the Mortal Kombat fatalities that they come up with.
But that's why I'm, like, saying, like, you see shit like that. I haven't seen a video game go that far with gore in terms of that way, because that was imaginative, first off, as David said.
Since like, Mortal Kombat, really, that's like the only one that really comes to mind.
But even then, though, it's so odd, because it's like you look at more of the like, let's say the older Mortal Kombats, like we talking like first one, like even like ones that you saw at the arcade from like when you were a fucking wee lad, and you see it now, right? And obviously you looking at it with a more mature perspective, and you're like, my parents got like all uppity over this, because again, like, video games have just become more and more technologically advanced, like from the last like 30 years, and we're like, companies are always trying to push the boundaries of the hardware and just like seeing like how much more graphic fidelity and everything that they're trying to get out of it. And I'm gonna be real, like, like, Mortal Kombat 1 is kindergarten shit, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's just very, obviously it's very dated, going back to that. But, like, you see Mortal Kombat, I don't even know what number they're on now, but, like, Mortal Kombat 11. And you see again, like as David said, the fatalities in that game, which I've kind of skimmed through sometimes just because, like, I was curious. And it's I'm like, whoa, like, oh damn, like that's brutal. I'm gonna replay it again.
Yeah,
I want to see that one more time. Like,
which one were you? Yeah.
It's honestly though, like I think it's so weird because at least it's mostly just in like Western, like not even Western culture, because like Europeans show like straight up nudity and crap like in their movies, and they're like perfectly fine with it. They're like don't even give a shit. Japanese people literally have anime that are this fairly fucking bloody and gory and very mature as far as like the subject material is, and and kids watch it and they're perfectly fine. They don't fucking go around literally like whipping out their katana swords out in school and slicing kids up and shit. Like they don't do that crap. And it's the reason, like, this is how I know that like parents from way back when were honestly full of shit, or they just were fucking stupid. Because like if you really take even like just a cursory glance in any other like region of the world that kind of like, let's say like, everyone has media, but if you see their media and like what they kind of let their kids watch and even like what games they let them play, bro, like it's like way worse than whatever like I guess we like show on Disney Channel or whatever. But the kids are mature enough that like, look, they take it as is and they just compartmentalize it, and then boom, like. And also what like this is also, it's goes back to like how parents are so absent in this country. They are so absent in their kids like development.
Yeah.
Ever since like they kind of just threw like the tablet to their face and just say, hey, just go on this, and don't bother me. Essentially, that's what like kind of how it all can like stem down to. It's just kind of, here, use this and don't bother me, because it'll keep you occupied for like the whole day, honestly. And everyone sees it, like the kids that like who are not even like 3 yet, they like using tablets already, like kind of imprinting them in their brains that it's like it's like something that they're gonna have to always have. And people will even argue, well, I mean, when you were a kid, didn't you have something like that? Yeah, my Game Boy. I'll be honest, I carried my SP everywhere, like everywhere, man. Like, and DS Lights was like honestly like the golden era for like handheld gaming, in my opinion. Just you couldn't get any smaller than that, and it just looks so fucking like just sleek.
Yeah,
really just
cool colors on it too. Yeah. I had my custom one that I showed you that I dropped on my keyboard, like when we did that episode. Still have the mark on it, by the way.
So, case in point, because guys, we're gonna be wrapping up here. I think honestly, you showed House of the Dragon to anyone else in the world that isn't America, they wouldn't have batted an eye. I've seen Japanese horror movies that were horrendously worse than whatever the fuck.
There are Japanese horror movies that are literally banned here.
Yeah, because of, again, for what they are. And this is nothing to me, honestly. I mean, the C-section scene, like shock value wise, was just like, like, oh, okay, well, I'm that really fucked me up, actually. At the end of it. But like, and if you ever, I don't know, like we probably will never get parents like of that sort of like level to ever watch this show, but if one of you fucking idiots are out there like watching this, like, you're a fucking idiot, honestly. Like, and I honestly wasn't even thinking about like the whole like, oh, video games lead to violence bullshit, but like, it hasn't gone away. That's the thing. Even though there have been multiple studies that have come out that basically said this whole theory is bullshit, basically is what their conclusion was, parents have not dropped like their whole manufactured stigma about it. They haven't dropped it ever since, even like from years ago. And I really don't understand it, because it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna fucking have my kid play Mortal Kombat 11 when they're like 4, but it's like, that's why the whole ESRB thing even exists to begin with. It's supposed to tell you that, yeah, this isn't meant for children, and yet children also still bought games like Grand Theft Auto. Like I even thought the whole like thing with the ESRB is that like it is a formality that has to exist. It has to exist. There has to be some sort of regulatory body that does kind of keep track of that crap. But it's like it's still always on the parents. It's all on you. And they always never want to take responsibility for that shit. Like, you blame video games. Yeah. Why do you keep letting your kids play video games? Like, why do you keep letting them buy those kind? Why is your fucking 7-year-old playing Grand Theft Auto? Like, shouldn't he be playing, like, Roblox or some shit? Like, why is he playing GTA 5? Like, what the fuck? Like...
I will say this for us to end on. I was literally looking at images from like banned Japanese horror movies. Like Jesus Christ, even looking at some of the images of some of them is like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, literally just Google banned Japanese horror movie and like look at some of the images that come up. Like one called Grotesque, I think is what it's called. It's like, Jesus fucking Lord. I will say this for us to end on because it's time for us to wrap. It is so ass backwards. Ass fucking backwards. And I will die on this hill. And I will work to change it if I could somehow find a way to do that. It is so ass backwards how, not even just in America, but even in some other countries, mostly America, we are completely fucking fine with grotesque, hideous, disgusting, inhuman, abhorrent violence in our media. It's completely okay. But sex is fucking criminal. You show one titty and it's over. Something that literally everybody, every woman, and every person technically has. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucked up. You know, you look at, like, the images from these, like, Japanese horror movies, and you have, like, their guts out. Like, you have, like, this one woman with, like, half of her face off. She looks like fucking Melina from, she literally looks like Melina from Mortal Kombat. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, you saw that one where, like...
She has, like, the really, like, weird, like, curved kind of, like, face.
Yeah, she looks like, why so serious?
Yeah.
You know, like, she literally looks... literally looks like, why so serious? Yeah, and the first one that came up with this movie called Grotesque, which I'm tempted to watch the trailer for it that they had on IMDb right here, but I don't know. I hate horror shit, personally. I actually hate horror movies. Not my thing. Point is, it is so fucking stupid how we, like, criminalize and, like, you know, like, X-rate movies for sex in movies. Even if it's, like, no actual sex actually happens and it's just, like, really, really steamy or they show tits or whatever. Or, you know, just genitals. But then we'll show shit like that. We'll show shit like horrible, disgusting, like inhuman, like gross out horror, like make you fucking barf violence. And that's, a lot of that shit is considered okay. Will never make any sense to me. Sex is natural. Sex is like, it's the same thing with like weed and alcohol. How alcohol is completely acceptable, but weed is the thing that is considered like abhorrent. It will never, ever make sense to me. Ever.
If there's anything I'll even also conclude, like, as far as like even like sex in TV goes, is like I don't think it's something that should be celebrated either. But I agree with that as well. Yeah, but it's also something that I feel as if shouldn't even be criminalized either. Yeah, like I just feel as if it's just people should just kind of see it for what the fuck it is. It's the most simple, basic thing of human nature ever. And just fucking leave it alone at that. Like, you know, it's not that fucking hard. But, I don't know, like, people, like, love to overcomplicate shit, too. It's just so fucking stupid in the end.
It's just ass backwards, man.
Yeah, like, it's so, like, weird. Alright, guys, that's gonna be our episode for today. It kind of got a little, like, not even, like, sad, I guess. It's just, like, frustrated with, like, how, you know, let's say, at least the way, like, people in our country, like, you know, kind of think, because like, why?
Totally cool, you know? Just chopping limbs off, but, you know, the second you show a
single beheadings, straight up beheadings,
show a single titty and it's over. I will ever fucking hate that. We're gonna keep this one under an hour, folks. There are plugs. Like I said earlier, we really appreciate the increase in viewership, you guys, the extra love you guys have been giving the podcast, and the comments you guys have been leaving. Keep that up. You know, we're gonna keep making these if you guys keep supporting it. This show doesn't this show doesn't get increased in popularity without your support. So
And we make no money yet.
Yeah.
So we would like to make money one day.
yeah, you guys, like, this show does not increase in popularity until you guys help that happen. So leave reviews on it on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, wherever you can. Tell your friends about the show. Again, leave a like and a comment, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and follow the podcast on all your favorite listening platforms like we have here. And also follow us on Twitter at Double D Pod, and on Instagram at the Double D Experience 21. The latter of which, if we can get Bitch Boy to start posting some memes again on.
I know, I'm sorry.
Fucking slacking, my guy. But 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left before we hit an hour. So we're done. Hope you guys enjoyed. We love you. Don't watch Japanese horror movies. That'll make you barf. And
maybe watch House of the Dragon. I don't know. Maybe you'll like it.
yeah, maybe you'll like it. It's not bad. Just, you know, very violent.
Yeah.
And lots of sex everywhere.
Yeah. I love that. Black. I keep saying just black. I was gonna say blackjack and hookers.
Bye.
Bye.